This is the EnergyMakers Show, brought to you by Comcast Business, built for business. And here's your host, Russ Capper.
Welcome back to the EnergyMakers Show, brought to you by Comcast Business, built for business. Coming to you now from the Houston CPA Society 2015 Energy Conference. And my guest is Brian Baumler. He's the Audit Director at PKF Texas and the Conference Chairman. Brian, welcome to the EnergyMakers Show.
Pleasure to meet you.
You bet. So it's looking pretty good. Attendance is pretty high.
Yeah, we have about 250 or so attendees this year. We're up about probably 20% from last year, so we're real excited. We're getting to a point where the venue is going to have to be continue to move upscale, so we'll probably have to move it to another location post this year, but we're real excited about everybody who's here.
Okay, how many of these have you been involved in?
This one is actually the 7th time I've actually attended this particular conference, but the conference actually has been held now. This is our 14th year.
Okay, impressive. So I would assume that just the environment, the ambiance, the personality of this one might be a little unique. Is that right?
Yes, I would say it is. It is a lot different. I think there's a lot of curiosity in the room. People are curious about what other companies have been doing and are doing, and how the energy industry is reacting to these uncertain times right now.
Okay. Are there unique accounting practices that take place in a down market like this?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't say unique. I think the response to a down market is the concerns about impairment.
Right.
There's also concerns about their ability to maintain their levels of liquidity necessary to carry their businesses. And with near-term redeterminations coming on through the banking environment, I think there's a lot of uncertainty on what the forward-looking CapEx environment looks like, and also their ability to fund their existing operations in general.
Okay, it seems like there's probably a lot more M&A activity going on.
There is some, and what you're seeing is really a market where companies are looking to acquire some assets and maybe in some distressed situations. We're not seeing as many yet, but I think we're going to be seeing some soon. Obviously, the market, the state of the market and the state of the energy industry itself is leaning towards, I should say, lean times, and in those lean times there could be companies interested in selling. I think they're still holding on to a lot of what they believe to be the market value of a forward-looking upturn in the market, which I think buyers are just sitting back waiting for situations to depress a little bit further.
Okay. Now I know Tom Duncan and John Walker both gave their perspective on the E&P outlook. What's your synopsis of that?
Well, I think John Walker, obviously being in the business for over 40 years, has been through a number of these downturns, and this will not be his last one, I'm sure. Tim, having a very new company, his perspective being slightly different, but I think both of them are fairly optimistic about what's going to be happening in the industry. They do expect when things internationally start straightening out a little bit, and we've got a slight oversupply that's impacting the pricing right now today. I think based on what they know to be the production declines in some of the major fields around the world, those declines are not going to be able to, the new advancements in technology are not going to be able to keep up with those declines. So they're anticipating some recovery. Not going to be tomorrow by any means, but it's going to be sometime in the forward year or two that we'll hopefully get back to a price that's a little more stable and a little more sustainable in this economy.
Well, Brian, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you very much, Russ. Appreciate
it. You bet. And that wraps up my discussion with Brian Baumler. We'll be back with more people from the 2015 Energy Conference hosted by the Houston CPA Society.